Hey guys, this is Tom Hanks. Welcome to another stream. Today we will do the first race in the 1998 Sports Sedan Challenge. We have 27 valid entries, so 27 cars to go through in terms of both styling and, of course, the first racing performance. So yeah, it's going to be quite a long stream today. And because we have way more submissions than I was expecting, I do think that we should probably do some eliminations at the end. Although we'll see how we go about that. I should also mention, please let me know if anything about the stream is not, if the stream quality is good, because today is the first stream with my new GPU, and I haven't. It could be that I may have to make some changes, as we go along. I've got an RX 6600 XT now. So welcome everyone. Welcome Tez. Welcome Lagoris, and welcome DJ. So let's quickly fire up BeamNG. Hey Lennox, how are you doing? Hello, I'm KR. So the first race will be on automation at the old racetrack circuit. We will do one lap, and I will start with my own cars. And yes, I've got two. I'm gonna drive the car that was in the video, but my actual car that I think will be competitive is my second car that I made. So this was just, basically a thing that's this car was basically made to kind of be a little bit clickbaity, because it sort of looks like it came out of GTA 5 or whatever. It's not exactly like a realistic looking sports sedan. Like, it looks like it could be a four-door Ferrari, right? So yeah, so this thing has a 4.2 liter V8, 382 horsepower, I want to say, and a manual transmission, which means it's not competitive at all in terms of the bonus categories for drivability and comfort. Tiny mirrors. And that'll be a 109.2. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it looked right when I placed them in automation from that angle, but obviously now in BeamNG, when you look at the car in its full size, then yeah, they're quite small. But this coming up now is my actual car that I think will be pretty decent. And again, I'm using my own cars to warm up a little bit. This thing here has a 3.8 liter twin turbo V12. I was sort of going Bugatti EB110 engine kind of vibes with this one. It makes 375 horsepower, 500 and 20-ish Newton meters, I think, of torque. And it's got a 5-speed advanced auto. And it's really quick. Okay, so quick that I was too late on the brakes there. Come on, power. And that's a 107.4. So yeah, nearly 2 seconds faster than the other car. Oh, I'm good, DJ. How about you? Can imagine that this comp may have the tightest pack of front runners. It may, but there is actually quite a big difference in terms of the bonus scores between the cars. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting because yours, for example, IMKR, you had 26 bonus score from your drivability and comfort, so that gives you a pretty significant advantage over a lot of other cars. Hey Costco, how are you doing? With the time era, yep, it's going to be definitely an interesting comp here. Let's see, let's start with the Peugeot 605 V12. This one was sent in by Random41. This has a 5.9 liter V12. It makes 397 horsepower. It weighs 1660 kg. So it had a drivability score of 39.3 and a comfort score of 42. So it got a total of 7 bonus points for those two. So in terms of looks, it's a Peugeot. So not a bad thing necessarily, but you know, it's got some things missing, like it's missing a badge. It's missing, well, wipers. It's missing a lot of something on the hood, maybe. Although that's not obligatory. I do like these bumper bars on the side. That's well done. Maybe like a V12 badging here and a 605 here would have added just a little extra something here on the back. I do think it looks good, but I also think you can do better. So I'm gonna give it a 6. Oh, it's manual, sorry. I thought it was auto, because like almost every car here is automatic. Okay, so it likes to understeer on the way in and then oversteer on the way out, so... Sounds like a typical front-engine V12 car in that regard. Understeer on the way in, oversteer on the way out. And that'll be a 110.1 for the Peugeot 605, setting the first mark. The next car will be the Kerberos D844 by Captain Cracker. And this car has a 4.4 liter V8 making 333 horsepower, and it weighs 1888 kg. So for drivability, this got 67.3, and comfort it had 39, so it got 14 bonus points overall. Looks-wise, I would almost say, no, I think the lights are just about fine for a 98, a little bit modern maybe, but the grille arrangement reminds me of like modern-day Lexuses. And the front end is kind of busy, in my opinion. Almost a little bit too much stuff. The side is nice. It's got that nice flow. I like the bumper bar along the side. And I think this part here is definitely some body molding as well, if I'm not mistaken. So that adds a little extra something. And then the rear is pretty simple. Simple and effective. Also a little bit too modern. Yeah, I would agree. He tried though. Is this a bad looking car? No. So I'm also gonna give this a 6. I think it would score a little bit higher were this a 2003 or 4 or 5 competition, I guess. But for 1998, it looks a little bit too modern. Okay, I was late on the brakes there, sorry. I think the gearing in the first couple of gears is definitely too short. It definitely feels like it's lacking a little bit in horsepower. Like the target was the E39 M5 as stated in the video. And so that car made 400 horsepower. So if you show up with a car that's like 70 horsepower down, then you know you better have a car that is lighter, that handles extremely well, that is grippy, you know. And so far this hasn't shown that. 113.106. Next up is the Albacore Antigua. That was sent in by Harmless. Hey, Deuce the Truth, how are you doing? So this comes with a 4-liter inline 5 turbo, making 398 horsepower, 1793 kg. It's got 72 in drivability and 50 in comfort, meaning it got 22 bonus score. The front, I would say, is definitely 1998-like. It's also kind of simple but effective. It's kind of understated, if you will. The side has everything that has to be there, but not much more other than the little badge. And the rear is a little bit too plain for me. It could use a little bit more stuff on it. Like, yeah, there is a thin little bumper bar, but the bottom half or so of the rear is completely empty, and it's just missing some detail, I think. I'm gonna say this is the weakest of the three cars in terms of design that we've seen so far. So I'd give the front end alone like a 6 or 7, but then the rear end is really quite plain, and I would give that in isolation maybe like a 2 or 3. So that averages out to, I guess, like a 4. Yeah, if the front is a 6 and the rear is a 2, then the average is a 4. Okay, so let's go with a 4 there. .1 bars of boost. Okay. Doesn't like corners, it seems. Okay, so this understeers quite a bit. The engine is super quiet as well. The engine pulls nicely, but the real deal breaker about this car is the understeer. 111.9. Okay, not too bad. But we've only had 3 cars so far, so let's keep it going, because we get a lot more to come. Next is the AMS Aries V8S. This was made by, let me see, by ABG7. So this comes with a 5.5 liter V8 naturally aspirated. It makes 400 horsepower, weighs 1655 kg. Drivability was 54.5, comfort was 32.5, so it got a total of 7 bonus score. Now the front end looks kind of Honda-ish to me, like Honda Accord or something like that. The side, I would say the bumper bar is definitely too thick. Unless you were going to unless you were going for a sort of, aftermarket side skirt look, in which case it should be lower down. The rear end is, well, decent. I would probably prefer if there was something in between, like in the lower part here, in between the exhausts. I know you can only put one spoiler or lip fixture on the front and one on the rear, but you can do something like I did on my V12 car. If you remember, it had this sort of body molding kind of part that almost looked like a diffuser in between here, so something like that would have helped, in my opinion. The rear end is decent though. I don't know, overall there isn't really that much to dislike, but it's just kind of, it looks kind of ordinary, right? It hasn't got anything that's like special about it. I'm gonna say, do I like it more? Yeah, I do think I like it more than the cars before, so I'm gonna go 7. I pressed the key one too many times. Okay. Should maybe check the spring and damper stiffness in automation to make sure that the car doesn't do any sort of weird bounces like that. Handling wise, I'm also going like, yeah, it's not like, it's not amazing handling, but it's good, it's nice, it's decent. $110.3. So this is in second place out of the actual competitors so far, behind the Peugeot. But yeah, we've got 23 more cars to go. So let's continue. That was my own car. So next is the Avion Mix Ti V8. That is by... let me see. That is by Albacore Alpha. So this thing has a 5-liter V8 making 376 horsepower. It weighs 1674 kg. The drivability on this is 72.9 and the comfort is 40, so it gets 17 bonus score. So the front, I gotta say, it could probably do without these vents and make this body molding sort of trapezoid a little bit thinner so it lines up with the grille. Then I think I would like it a little bit better than I do right now. I like that it has this sort of black bumper line going all the way across the along the car. The rear end, again, it's definitely not bad. It's a decent looking rear end, but it could use a little something in like these areas right here on either side. So not the biggest fan of the front end, I have to say. So overall, I'm gonna say 6. Engine feels powerful. Well damped. A little bit of understeer, but that's okay. It's a family saloon after all. Not so much understeer there. Looks like another solid performance. 109.938, so that will take the lead from the Peugeot. So currently in first place, the Avion Mix Ti V8. And next is the Bakerfield Grand Moretti VSR 511 Custom by Tez. And that has an 8.4 liter V10, presumably from a Viper, making 533 horsepower, and the car weighs 1848 kg. The drivability is 52.6 and the comfort is 41.3, giving it a total of 10 bonus points. Styling wise, this definitely looks kind of American muscle car-ish, although I think it's a little bit, how do I put this? I think you could have achieved a sort of similar look to this with less fixtures, if that makes sense. It feels like these little vents here are a little bit lost. They're kind of just stuck on there just to have something there, I guess. And the main grille and this bottom grille here could be a little bit bigger if you wanted that shape. And then the top here is very, very thin, so it doesn't go together. It's not a cohesive front look, in my opinion. It's got side pipes, which is cool. The rear end looked like you didn't have much time to spend on the design. I'm gonna leave it at that. So in my opinion, this is the weakest design that we've seen so far. So it gets the weakest score as well, which would be a 3. Okay, late on the brakes there. Let's try launching it like that. Okay, so this is gonna be difficult. Let's launch it like that again. The engine is definitely this car's best part. Look at it pull. So let's see what kind of time it can get. It's gonna be a 108.097. Definitely made up some time on the in the second half of this lap, where the engine could really shine. So a pretty strong effort from the Bakerfield there. Next up is the Brixley Sentinel GT V10 by Madrias. This has a 7-liter V10 making 404 horsepower and it weighs 1845 kg. The drivability on this one was 70.1 and the comfort was 32.3, giving it 12 bonus score. I hated selling the car. Yeah, no offense, but it shows. So this thing has a pretty cool two-tone paint job that didn't show as clearly in automation as it does here. The bottom half is clearly darker than the top half. Although as far as the actual design language from fixtures, I'm not a fan of the front, because like the bottom half is fine, but then the front, it's got like all kinds of shapes going and it doesn't really know what it wants. It's got round, it's got kind of these sort of rounded off vents going around the headlights, and it's got square here, and it's got these kind of blobby indicators. I don't know how else to call them. So it's not a cohesive design. Side is nice. It's helped a lot by the two-tone paint job. And then the rear, I think it's fine. It's not outstanding, not as much as the exhausts are standing out anyway. But yeah, overall I'm gonna give this a, I think we've seen worse. I'm gonna give this a 5. Well damped. It also manages its power pretty well. It's got just about as much power as the chassis can handle. Which allows you to do that in a very controlled fashion. 110.319, that is really close to the AMS, but just ahead of it. Moving on, we've got the Centauri Boulevard CPV 427 by Nylov Tara. This has a 7-liter V8 making 363 horsepower and it weighs 1730 kg. The drivability is 45.6 and the comfort is 35.4, giving it 5 bonus score. So the front is pretty, you know, plain and simple. Not much going on there. Not even a bottom lip or anything. No fog lights. Yeah, it's got a hood, kind of like a little hump on the hood and some hood vents as well. Maybe black is just not the right color for it, because it needs a little something to make it stand out a bit more. The side is, you know, decent. It's got some bumper bars near the middle of the side, and a little bit of detailing here. The rear end is quite empty, especially the bottom half. Yeah, the top half is almost entirely covered by the taillights and the badging. So it looks very sort of American from the rear. Which is not a bad thing, you know, in general. But in this, I think it's just a little bit unexciting in terms of its design. It's not bad looking, it's just a little uninspired. So it gets an average score, it gets a 5. By the way, guys, is the stream quality okay? Because again, I'm streaming on my new GPU for the first time, so no experience with that yet. Brake balance a little bit too rearward. It oversteered on braking there. Engine feels pretty damn powerful though. Also, the chassis and the suspension is overall well set up. I actually like the way this car handles. And that means 109.2, which I believe is second place right now. Yeah, indeed. Looks and sounds great, thank you. That's awesome. Like, whew, I'm relieved to hear that, because it means I don't need to change anything for the next stream. I don't need to go troubleshooting after this and see what settings I might need to change. That can take hours, you know. Next is the Cold Steel Callan. Cold Steel Callan, by the way. And that is made by Callan. It's got a 4.9 liter V8, making 372 horsepower. It weighs 1691 kg, drivability 60.7, comfort 31.3, so it got 8 bonus points. So front definitely has some, kind of looks like a blend between a Mercedes and a Cadillac. The bottom half of the front end is missing something. I don't know, maybe some separate indicators here, or some reflectors, some fog lights, a number plate, anything really. The side is also kind of empty. Could maybe use some bumper bars along the side. And then the rear end is definitely a Mercedes. A little bit of batching would go a long way, maybe. So, the way I'm thinking about this, is it's got all the basics, but it doesn't have anything extra. So, what does that mean? I guess it means a 6. Oh, flat plane V8. For a second I was confused by the sound there, because it's so quiet and we haven't had a flat plane V8 in this comp yet, and also like low revving flat plane V8s just don't sound very good in my opinion in automation. This revs to something like 62, 6300. Okay, let's try that again. So yes, I think 6200 RPM redline, which is typically where the flat plane V8 starts sound good. Like from 62, 6500 or so onwards up until 9 or so is when the flat plane V8 starts to sound good. Oh, fourth gear is a little bit long on this one. And the overall time will be a 1:11.057. I don't understand the engine in this. The engine wants to do more, but the red line, yeah, the red line cuts it off. You could do a lot more with a 4.9 liter flat plane V8. And also it's just kind of weird to make a flat plane V8 that revs this low. Like, if you're gonna make a V8 that revs to 6200, make it crossplane. It sounds much better. Next is the D8W C485S, which, if I'm not mistaken, yep, it's made by DJ. It's got a 4.5 liter V8. It makes 461 horsepower. The car weighs 1643 kilograms. Drivability was 38.7 and comfort was only 30.1, so it only got 1 bonus score. So let's talk styling here for a second. The front looks sort of Datsun-esque. And it is pretty detailed with like the headlight washers and whatnot. So the front is okay. I think that the upper fin grille here could be a little bit taller. But the side is also fine, in my opinion. But the rear end, yeah. The rear end, I think it just looks like... It looks like a mess. It just looks like a couple of, rectangular bits thrown at it in no particular fashion. And I don't think it works. I'm sorry. So the rear end is what definitely could be improved on this one. And as a result of that, I'm gonna give this a 4 overall, because I do think the front end is definitely quite well done. Could use some could be improved in some ways, but it's a good start. But the rear is definitely not the car's strong suit. Another flat plane V8, but this revs almost to 8,000, so it's a well-damped car. Has a little bit of understeer, but the engine definitely goes. Yeah, on the top end, this thing really pulls hard. One 107, 108, 109.372. So that puts this in third place right now, I think. Yep, third place. Yeah, I think an auto transmission, like advanced auto to be specific, was definitely the right choice in this challenge. Like, it's not even, it just gives you way too much drivability to not choose the advanced auto. Next is the GSI Sabine SSM by Opposite Lock. This car has a 4.8 liter V8 making 406 horsepower. It weighs 1809 kg. Drivability was 50.2, comfort was 33.3, so it got a total of 6 bonus score. Front end looks a little bit, you know, a little bit too modern. It looks like early 2000s Ford-ish. Early to mid 2000s Ford, I guess, comes to mind. Side is fine. I like the little detail with the indicators on here. Rear end also looks, you know, Mustang inspired, especially with the taillights. But that generation Mustang with those taillights launched in, what was it, 2004 or 5? So in some ways this looks a little bit too modern. And in other ways it's a little bit, I don't know, it feels like it's missing something here on the bottom half of the rear end. Here's the thing, I don't dislike the design, but I'm not really, it's not an amazing design either, in my opinion. I'm debating between 5 or 6. You know what? I'm gonna go 6. Another manual transmission here. Well balanced car though. Yeah, handling-wise, this is one of the best that we've had so far. 108, 109.129. So this takes second place now. Really close right here. So we've got the GSI, then we've got the Centauri, then we've got the DAW. These three are so close together. But Bakerfield is still in the lead. So that was the GSI. Next is the Hinodelucent Gran Turismo Ultima, which was sent in by Qualitate Potato. Is that player Dutch? Does anyone know? Because Qualitate sounds Dutch, spelled that way sounds Dutch to me. Anyway, this has a 3-liter turbocharged inline-6, 340 horsepower. It weighs 1751 kg. Drivability is 68.9 and comfort is 59.6. So this got a total of 25 bonus score. He's from Indonesia. Okay. So the front is a very nice kind of cohesive design, because not only is the shape of the main grille and the lower grille like the same shape, but also the fact that they both have these sort of little lines in between, and not only are they symmetrical between top and bottom, but then also these vents along the side are also like they also line up with this grille down here. It's got some fog lights. It looks very nice. The side has got some bumper bars going on, and I think even a little bit body molding here for the side skirts, if I see that right. The rear end is definitely BMW-ish. I think it could use something here and on the bottom, but it doesn't, even though there's a lot of empty space, it doesn't look as empty as on some other cars that we've seen. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the thin bumper bar running across, and because the taillights are so big and well designed that they kind of draw your eyes towards them. So I'm gonna definitely say that this is the best looking one so far. And I'm gonna give it an. I'm gonna give it. Screw it. I'm gonna give it a 9. The car can make use of every last one of its horsepower, but there's just not that many of them, unfortunately. So that's the main takeaway from this car. It feels pretty underpowered. It feels like it could use more power than it has. And that's why it did a 111.098. Next is the Kehita Havela, I think that's how you say it, by Costco. That has a 4-liter turbocharged inline six with 514 horsepower. It weighs 1818 kg, drivability 63.5, comfort 40.2, so it got 14 bonus points. The front looks sort of a little bit Rolls-Royce, a little bit Lincoln inspired. It's, you know, pretty square and boxy. It's got some nice details on the side with the 2 side indicators for some reason. And then, is that another reflector down there, or is that a badge? I think that might be a badge. The rear end, I can barely see the bottom half of the rear because the taillights are so big and so bright. But I feel like, firstly, it's missing a number plate, and I think that could go on here, and then you could maybe put some thin white lights along the main taillights to make like a couple of white stripes for the reverse lights there. I think that would look cool. It's not a bad rear design, but I think the rear is not as convincing as the front is. And so I'm gonna give this one a 7. Yeah, it looks like a car that started in the 80s but then was produced all the way until 1998. Okay, off we go. Really long first gear. I'm gonna reset this run. And I'm gonna launch it differently this time. I tried to launch it more aggressively, but I guess the first gear is just too long. Once it goes, it moves though. It's really quite a quick car. There is some understeer, but not a lot. And there is power oversteer pretty much whenever you want it. Look at that engine pull though. It's so quiet you almost don't notice that you're going this fast, but you are. 105, 106, 107, 107.7. So the Kehita takes the lead for now with a 107.7, which it is the first car to beat the Bakerfield. And good job, Costco. Next is the Ludwig Swanson 437 SPM by Discord user Hey? I don't know how else to pronounce the name. It's H-A-E, so I don't know how else to say it other than Hey. I'm sorry. It's got a 3.7 liter Boxer 6, 330 horsepower. It only weighs 1499 kg. Drivability is 52.7, comfort is 40, so it got 10 bonus points. So I'm thinking in terms of, you know, body choice and also the two-tone paint, it definitely got inspired by my car from the video. Although I will say my own car, I wouldn't rate it that highly because it's, you know, it looks like my car looks like it came from GTA 5. And the same can be said about this, in my opinion. The sort of thin, you know, sort of almost snake-like front headlights, and then the kind of light beige and then brown or bronze, I guess, two-tone paint. You could call it. It is definitely striking, but I don't think that it. First of all, I don't think it belongs to 1998 in terms of the lights and the light fixtures, especially the rear end, and also the two-tone paint. I mean, again, in a game like GTA 5, it would you could definitely see it happening there. But in the real world, who would, like, raise your hands in chat, guys? Who of you would buy a car with this paint in real life? If you had like, even if it was this car available in other colors as well, who of you would choose this paint? No one? That's what I thought. I'm sorry, but anyway, so yeah, I'm sorry, but this, not only does this not fit 1998 in my opinion, it looks a little bit, you know, it looks too much like a racer or a tuner car. So I think this will only get a 3 out of 10. It's not because of a lack of effort, but because it just doesn't fit. The suspension feels well balanced, and the chassis seems like it can handle the power, but it's also a little underpowered with only 330 horsepower, so but the split time is good. .923. We had another 109.9 already. The other one was 109.938. That was the Avion. Really close, but actually faster than I was expecting. The styling score was a 3 for this one. Because I said it doesn't fit with the. It doesn't fit with, you know, this being a premium sports sedan. Edsel raised his hand in Discord. Okay. Next is the Mara Cavalier Mark II AMM 4.6 by Andy D. It's got a 4.6 liter V8, as the name would suggest. It makes 300 horsepower. Car weighs 1524 kg. Drivability is 62. Comfort is 38. So it got a total of 13 bonus points. So it can join the Bakerfield in the fugly section. Look, not every design can be a... Oh. design. Not every design can be a winner. This looks like a sleeper car. Like, it looks like an ordinary family sedan. Very understated, nicely detailed. I like the headlight washers. And I think this car can get away with the empty space between the number plate and the fog lights. It doesn't look like it has to add something else there. It feels fine without extra fixtures there. Side is nice. I also like that the bumpers are so. Is that plastic or is it actual black paint? I can't tell. Doesn't matter though. The taillights look like they came from an E60 5 Series BMW. So they're maybe a little bit modern for 1998, but I think overall the design works well together. And I'm gonna give this a 6. Well-balanced suspension. Well damped too over the bump. So let's see how it does the rest of the track, which is very much power focused. Because there is where it's lacking a little bit with only 300 horsepower. .7, 108, 109.3. Well done for only 300 horsepower. I wasn't expecting this to be this quick. And the reason it is this quick is definitely because of the very good suspension setup. Your car is right there, by the way, deuce the truth. Next up is the Matsuma Tiger GT by Martin 2010. This comes with a 4-liter inline-6 turbo, making 408 horsepower, and it weighs 1692 kg. The drivability is 63, the comfort is 42.4, so this got 15 bonus score overall. Yeah, really, like the suspension tune on the Mara was excellent. It was really well balanced all around, and so I think it'll do very well on Hirochi as well. Now for the now for the Matsuma Tiger GT. I think the front has a little bit too much going on. The bottom half of the front sort of reminds me of, say, the 2008-ish Dodge Charger. Yeah, I think it's got a little bit too much on the front. It's not a bad look, and I can see where you're going with this. I think it's a little bit too busy though. The side is the opposite. It's quite empty, but in my opinion, not too empty. And the rear end, I can barely see what else it's got going on there because of the taillights, which are on. So I think the rear end is actually pretty decent. It could maybe use a badge or some badging, like with letters, like the brand name here in between the inner taillights. That would make it look pretty good. And also if this cutout were an actual number plate as well. What do we give this overall? I do kind of like it, actually. I'm gonna give it a 7. No, the reason you can't turn them off when the car is at the starting lights is because it's holding the brakes. So these are not the actual lights that are on. So if I press N, then you see what happens. So these are the brake lights. You can't turn those off while the car is standing still here. Oh, Skyline-like tail lights, I guess you could say. The front end really wants to turn. This is definitely one of the more aggressive front ends that we've had so far. Suspension-wise, and I guess design-wise as well. Oh no, I messed it up, I'm sorry. All right, let's go, let's go, let's go. Kept the rear in check that time. Let's see what sort of time we can do here. 108.6. Third place for now. Very good effort from the Matsuma. First version at the V10 turbo to 750 horsepower gave up after a few corners. Yeah, I can imagine. Because with the 255mm tire restriction and river drive only, yeah, you're not gonna put down 750 horsepower like that. But strong effort from the Matsuma. Well done. Next is the Megacom Hario V9 by none other than Lennox V10, who won the previous challenge. So this has a 3.1 liter twin turbo V8 making 369 horsepower, and the car weighs 1527 kg. The drivability is 60.6 and the comfort is 44.2, so it got 15 bonus points. Styling wise, I'm seeing Nissan on the front, definitely. And a little bit, kind of like a mix between Nissan and Audi, actually. Side is rather empty. And then the rear is also kind of empty besides the taillights and the number plate. It does have a rear wiper, which adds a little something, and the trunk lock as well. I'm gonna give this... It's just missing a little bit of detail in my opinion. Like there's no front number plate. On the side there's no bumper bar that I can see unless there is one there. But I feel like something along the middle could have improved it a little bit. And I'm gonna go 6 out of 10 for design here. Feels very quick though with the short gearing that it has. Yeah, this is definitely a quick car here. Very quick. So let's see, let's go. 105, 106.4. We have a new leader, guys. Even though the engine is kind of laggy, the short gearing helps a lot with that, and the suspension is really aggressively tuned. It has a lot of bite, although because the engine doesn't make a huge amount of like torque, it doesn't overwhelm the tires as much. So well thought out car. Definitely a very good to drive car in a sort of unconventional way, because a 3.1 twin turbo V8 is not exactly that common. Although with it being a flat plane V8, this is sort of kind of like a what's it called, a Ferrari F40. Next is the Never Gonna Run Around and Desert You by IMKR. So 2 of the favorites back to back. This car has a 4.5 liter naturally aspirated inline 6. It makes 400 horsepower. It only weighs 1452 kg. Drivability is 71.1. Comfort is 58.1, giving it a whopping 26 bonus points. And the front looks sort of Mercedes-ish, but also modern Lexus-ish with the shape of these grills. The hood scoop is nice. See, this is where I think this car falls a little bit short. Like this side profile just looks very boxy. Like the roofline here, it's just fat for so long, and then I don't know. The side profile is not the car's strong suit. The rear end, I actually think if this is the right car, then I think that these taillights, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm KR, I think these taillights are all made bespoke with those sort of dog tape fixtures. So a lot of work went into those. And I think it has the right mix of elegant and aggressive. As does the front. But I think the front could use a little bit of contrast. Like if these bumper bars here were like black or plastic, or the front lip or anything. Because otherwise it's just white on white. And the rear looks possessed by the devil. I think that the kind of stumpy rear roofline there really, I don't like it very much. I don't know, it's just the basic shape of the car. You did a really good job with the detailing of everything, but the overall shape of the car is what I'm not so fond of. lots of work went into this one, I can tell. I'm gonna give it a 7. The front end is just as aggressive as Lennox's car, but it can't quite put the power down as well as Lennox's car. That's the difference. Come on, 106, 107, still a very quick time. 107.4 puts it in second place for now. The difference really was the fact that it just had a little bit too much power for the rear, and it let go too easily. But still a very, very quick car. Next is the Noctua Abingdon Meta. That one was made by Festival on Discord. Wait, where? Okay, there we go. 4.9 liter V8, 393 horsepower, 59.6 drivability, 50.2 comfort, giving it 18 bonus points. Now this front end I do like. It's kind of Mercedes, kind of Honda, in my opinion. I like the side with these kind of sporty vents over here. Makes it look like more of a sports car. The rear end is where this car falls short, though, in my opinion. Especially with these extra kind of brake lights here. I think it gives it a kind of a weird mustache, if you want to call it that. And also the taillights don't line up with the rear body molding part here. And you could have just made one large taillight fixture rather than two small ones of different types. I don't know. The rear is not as strong as the front. The front is actually pretty damn good. I like it, and I like the side view as well. But because of the shortcomings on the rear end, I'm only going to give this a 6. How do I bring up the power graph? I'll show you. You go to the UI apps. You click on this UI app select, and then this one is called torque curve. So if you go to add app and you look for the torque curve, which is right there. I mean, I've already got it, so I'm not going to add another one, but that's how you do that. Really quick acceleration there. Appears to be a viscous limited slip diff though. Which means it sometimes spins both wheels, but most of the time it doesn't. And I feel like that diff is what's holding it back. With a geared diff, I'm sure this would be faster. Because the engine feels strong. The front of the car feels nicely set up. But the diff is just spinning one tire, and that's what's holding it back, in my opinion. That's why I did a 110.269. Open diff. Okay. Yeah. Could also be. I felt like there was some lock, but... yeah. Next, though, is the Placard Admiral GT by none other than Teacup. So this has a, let me see, this has a 4.3 liter V8, 442 horsepower, 1571 kg, drivability is 65.6, comfort is 36.1, so it got 13 bonus points. And this is one that I feel like is probably going to be one of the strongest cars in terms of performance. Styling wise, again, I get sort of Nissan vibes from the front, but I do like this one. I was gonna say maybe it could have some vents on the bonnet, but now that I'm imagining it, no, actually I think it's better off without them. The side is nice, and I like this thin little black bumper bar. I like the way that the rear spoiler gives the rear end kind of a roundness that this otherwise very square body wouldn't normally have. I do like this design, actually. What did we have? So I'm gonna give I'm gonna say that this is one of the better looking cars we've had so far. And I'm gonna give this one 7 or 8. I'm gonna go 7. I'm gonna reset this run. I was gonna lose it right there. It does like to dance for sure. But it's also very quick though. The engine feels very powerful, but it likes corners just as much as it likes straights, so I'm expecting a very fast time from this. I couldn't go through that corner without any slide. I'm sorry, it just wasn't possible. That being said, 107.2, very strong performance. Second place for now. Good job, teacup, just as expected, I guess. Because really, you wouldn't expect a teacup to be, you know, like down low in terms of the rankings. Next is the Subaru Wakaliga BDB by Edsel. This has a 3-liter Boxer 6 turbo with 361 horsepower. It weighs 1521 kg. The drivability was 56.5, comfort was 32.9, and so it got 8 bonus points. Your car, DJ, you did a 109.3, so your what is that overall right now? Like plays 5, 6, 7, something like that. So definitely in the top half of the field for sure, but not among the very best this time. So the Subaru, definitely a very aggressive front lip, and a very aggressive front in general, not just the lip, and hood scoop, yellow pinstripe, gold wheels. I'm gonna say the front is a little bit over the top, though. It's too race inspired. What did you get for styling? Hang on. You got a 4 for styling. The rear end on this, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the taillights look kind of lost. They don't align with the side of the body. They don't align with anything else. They're just kind of there. And then you've got a trapezoid here. You've got these round taillights here. You've got, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't work together very well. It's got lots of different elements, but they don't fit together. And so I'm also gonna give this a. I'm not gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 4. Engine definitely feels laggy, but once it does get going, it feels reasonably powerful. .105, 106, damn, this is actually quicker than I thought. 108.047. Just ahead of the Bakerfield. No, Costco is not a first. Costco is 4th right now. 5th. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th, because this is my own car. Sorry, you need the time? I gave that a 4 for design, and the time is a 108.047. So, we got a few more cars to go. Actually, 6 more cars to go. Next is the Stilesi 8S, which for some reason the thumbnail for the car didn't load. That was sent in by Lotto77. It's got a 3.8 liter V8 turbo, which somehow only makes 290 horsepower. And it weighs 1699 kg. Drivability is 66.8, comfort is 34.7, so it got 12 bonus points. But it is only on 210mm tires all around. So dynamically, it doesn't seem to be the strongest, at least on paper. But the race isn't held on paper. Styling-wise, I think this is definitely an interesting direction with the front that we haven't seen so far. I do kind of like it, although these little like extra front headlights are... I think they could go, because this makes it look like it wants to be a rally car, but it isn't. So, but other than that, I do like the front. I like the rear. I like the side profile as well. The rear end, I gotta say, it's just too many small lights. It reminds me sort of the DeLorean in a way, with these lights, but I don't think it suits this body shape as well as the DeLorean's lights suit it. So overall, I'm gonna give this a 6. Nice effort, but I think the rear lights don't suit the body very well. Oh, it's a flat plane V8. Okay, I was late on the braking there. I'm sorry. One of the few cars that didn't get to 100 kilometers an hour before the braking point for the first chicane. Handling wise, I mean, it feels well balanced. And the front has a good amount of grip to it, but the engine is just the car's weak point. Another 50 horsepower though, and this would definitely be a little bit more competitive. 100 more horsepower, I think it would actually be too much, but 111.638 for the Stilesi, which is near the bottom of the field. Next is the TMC Gehenna Limited Edition. That one was sent in by Luke T. Dabas. It's got a 3.7 liter turbo inline 6 with 504 horsepower, and the car weighs 1655 kg. Drivability is 62.2. Comfort is 33.6, and so it got 10 bonus points. The front I do like the bottom half of it. I like the bumper. I like the thin chrome bumper as well. The number plate could be a little bit bigger for more realism, but that's, you know, that's fine. The big thing that I don't like is that like everything else is pretty square and pretty rectangular, just like the headlights. But then the main grille is this kind of rounded shape. I don't think that fits very well together, and the front grille is also just a bit too tall. It doesn't line up with the top and bottom edges of the headlights, and so that's the reason why I don't like the front as much as I think I could otherwise, if the grille was different. Side is quite empty, but it doesn't look that like it's missing much. Like, it doesn't feel like it needs something extra on the side. The rear is, I mean, nice little windshield heater, rear windshield heater lines. I think the rear and the taillights are too big. I think they should be a little bit smaller. And I think that some of this badging, like this, whatever this says, Turbo Sport or whatever, or limited edition, what I can't read it from here. This could be down here on the bumper. Just something to add to the bottom half of it. So both the front and the rear have some good things about them, but also some things that I think ruin the overall, not ruin, but decrease the overall score of the design rating. Some things that just need improvement to make the design flow a little better. And that's why I only give this a 5. Very powerful engine. Once it gets going anyway. Like, the engine pulls hard. The front end appears to be pretty good as well. The front end grip. But I think what's really holding this back is the gearing that's a little bit too long. DJ, I think I'm gonna go back after this and look at the list of cars, because I don't want to say, I gotta make sure that I'm thinking of the wrong cars. Sorry, there's been like 20 cars already, and I think I remember which one was yours. But I want to make sure before I give my feedback to you. Big slide there due to lots of power. But this thing pulls super duper hard. And the suspension is well set up. You know what? 106.5. You know why this isn't in first place? It's the gearing. The gearing is too long. It lost that 1/10 or so definitely at launch due to the long gearing that just didn't get the car moving very quickly. That's where the time is, man. Shorter gearing, and this would be number one for sure. Well done nonetheless, though. So the DAW, yeah, this one. Okay, so I did like the front. I feel like the little thin grill at the top, in the top half where my mouse is right now, that could be a little bit taller, but overall the front was good. The rear was really empty though, and that's why I didn't give it a very good score for the design. It was just missing detail, especially on the rear. Next, we have the Aaron's car. So you can read out the name for yourself there while I... load it up. This has a 3.8 liter twin turbo V8 with 540 horsepower. The car only weighs 1467 kg. It has 40 drivability and 30.1 comfort, so it only gets 1 bonus point. Engine definitely feels laggier than it should based on the torque curve. I'm gonna reset this one. Like this only has a 3-speed gearbox, so once it does get going, it's really damn quick, but also very difficult to control. The auto locker is also not helping, I think. But this car was right at 50 grand, so right at the maximum allowed budget, so a geared limited slip diff would have probably just been too expensive. And so now this only has 3 speeds, guys, so the car just topped out there. I can show you. But this is still the fastest. Wow. 105.783. A car with a 3-speed manual is the fastest car. Okay. Well, we're not done yet. We've got 3 more cars, but that's surprising. Wait, did I not give this a styling score yet? Sorry. Let's go back here and analyze the styling. The front headlights definitely look like angel eyes to me, but the overall front design language is different from BMW, so it's not something that I would classify as a copy. I do like it, actually. It looks mean and you know, sporty. The side is missing some side indicators besides the ones on the mirrors. It's fine. It doesn't really have much going on. It also doesn't have a fuel cap or a radio antenna. The rear end is using, I think, E60 taillights, so the 2003 to 2010 5 Series taillights are a little bit ahead of its time there. Also very aggressively styled. Doesn't work quite as well as the front, in my opinion. And maybe a little... Although, is this a diffuser on the rear? Like between the exhaust there, or is that a body molding part? I'm not sure. But if it's not a diffuser, you could have put like a little spoiler on the rear. I think that would have helped. Overall styling, 6. It's a grille, yeah. Okay. Next is the Vittac Phantom by Vecto. This has a 3.7 liter turbo inline 6 with 427 horsepower, and the car weighs 1592 kg, drivability 49.7, comfort 35.9, so it got 6 bonus score. Styling wise, I don't think it fits together very well. I think that you can make a sort of split grille like this work, but for that to work, I think the main headlights are too small, and I think there's just too much dead space between the upper half and then the lower half design. It's also slammed like nothing else. it's really low. Look at that. Which means the side looks, you know, nice and aggressive by default. The rear end is definitely a little bit ahead of its time, and also completely empty, save for the exhaust from here downwards. It's not bad, but it's not a strong design in my opinion either. I'm gonna give it a 6. Definitely lots of wheel spin. Turns in nicely though. I can't really point my finger onto anything in particular that, like, why this car isn't faster here. The engine felt decent, but I don't know, it somehow it has like this mid-corner understeer sometimes, and then a little bit of power oversteer at the exit, but that's, you know, you would expect that. You would expect power oversteer on exit from a rear-wheel drive sports sedan, so not really sure why this isn't faster, but anyway. Next, and the second to last car at that, is the WMD TR1 by Deuce the Truth. This has a 3.3 liter V10 turbo, and that makes 432 horsepower, and the car weighs 1528 kg. It has 56.3 drivability and 30.1 comfort, so it gets 7 bonus points. The front reminds me of like 90s Mustang somehow. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this kind of, I don't know what you call it, it's probably a body molding part right here that's underneath the badge. I think if you were to, or is that just the grille that has this kind of gap in between there? There is a grille like that. I think just a simple kind of more rectangular grille with the sort of upwards curve here would have suited it better. I don't like that there's the blank space in the middle there. I also feel like it should have a number plate here, but yeah. Next is, or on the side here, I do like it. It's got this sharp belt line and it's got the little vents here, adding some sportiness. The rear end is definitely BMW-esque with this cutout here and BMW-esque taillights. Could use a little bit more detail, maybe a little bit of batching over here, or over here as well, or I guess on the bumper as well. Something to add a little bit more on the rear end. It is good though. I wouldn't change the rear end too much. I would change some things about the front end though, mainly with this main grille and adding a number plate here. So those are my thoughts. I'm gonna give this a, because I do kind of like the rear end though, so I'm gonna give this a 6 overall. Regular and non-advanced automatic here. Quick acceleration, 4.3 seconds. The non-advanced automatic is definitely hurting it though, because whenever we're going through a corner and I'm not on full throttle, it likes to upshift, and then when we get to the straights and I put my foot down, it's like, oh, you sure you wanna SR right now? You really sure? Yeah, okay, now I'm gonna downshift to put you into the high power band. Even despite that though, look at it go, 107.094. With an advanced auto, this would definitely be near the top. I mean, it's already 4th, but with an advanced auto, it would be even higher up. I can tell you that. Last but not least is the wohlhabend Vorstandklasse Sport V8 by Hugo Oyon. This thing has a 5.4 liter naturally aspirated V8. It makes 360 horsepower and it weighs 1779 kg. Drivability is 60, comfort is 34.4, and so it got 10 bonus score. So styling-wise, the front is definitely Mercedes E-Class. Very well done though. Very detailed. I do really, really like it. There's really nothing that I can really criticize on this front end. It's very, very well done. Side profile is nice too. It's nice and low too. The wheels almost look a little bit too big, or maybe the tires don't have enough sidewall. But see, this, like, we had another one or two cars that I criticized for having taillights too big. These are probably even bigger, but this is how you make them work. You line up the rest of the details that you've got. You put the number plate holder in line with the bottom edge. You put a little chrome stripe here along with the top edge. You add some badging here, and you add some quad exhaust. And this is a fine looking car. Like, this is a really, really strong design in my opinion. What's the best car that we've had so far? I think that got a 9. The Hinode by Qualitate Potato. I do actually prefer this design-wise to the other one, which means there's only one score I can give it, and that's a 10. The engine and gearbox work well together. It has lots of torque. Doesn't seem to have like the most top-end power, and if you look at the power and torque graph, it looks like the engine could definitely rev a little bit higher and make more power. So yeah, here on this longer straight, it feels a little bit underpowered compared to some other cars. But the suspension and chassis tune is good. It feels well balanced, not overwhelmed by the engine. But yeah, a little bit more horsepower and this would have ranked better. But as it is, it's a 109.055, placing it, I believe, in 11th. It's not too bouncy. Yeah, so now let us sort this by time. And we have Aaron with Pizza in first place, Lennox V10 in second, and then we have Luke T. Dabas in third, Deuce the Truth in fourth, we've got Teacup in fifth, I'm KR in sixth, myself in seventh, I guess, but actually in seventh is Costco. Then we have Edsel in 8th, Tez in 9th, and who made that? Martin 2010 in 10th, so he gets the last available point. So I will eliminate the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. So the Cold Steel Callan, that's out. Yeah, I mean, I guess if it's too slow, then it can't be the perfect sports sedan, right? Then the Stilesi, the Albacore, and the Kerberos are out. This one right here, the Hinode, eliminating that is definitely going to upset Qualitate Potato, because he got 25 bonus score from the automation stats and then a 9 for styling, so he would actually be in... Where would he be overall right now? I think he would even be leading, if I'm not mistaken. No, MKR would be leading, but he would be in second place overall right now, but he's out. Well, so that was that. Hope you guys enjoyed. The next race will be on the the next race will be on the 18th, so next Saturday, also at 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time, and I hope to see you guys there. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like before you leave, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.